what I'm hearing from you, I don't have an agenda. I just want to listen to you. I want to hear you. I want to find out what you're about. I'm genuinely curious how you got into this, what it's like to
Okay.
be a Israeli conspiracy theorist. I have a lot of concerns that I would like to tell you. I have a lot of things I want to tell you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm hoping that you can find time to do this a few, hopefully a few times, so I can really get to spread your
Sure, sure.
knowledge.
All right, sure,
And
sure, sure.
obviously, I'd like to share what I'm doing with you also because it is related to what you're doing.
I'll take this the Sabbateanism and I'll start tracing it. All right.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
well,
start.
that's one of my issues. Okay, just if you want to talk about where I'm coming from, um, I think a diabolical cult is in control of law, government, entertainment. I could go on. Education, medicine. I don't like it. And I think that they're doing child sacrifices. I think that they're raping children as part of the rituals. And, I see them playing all these media games to throw us off, so we can't catch them. And I don't know if they have to do these things, if they actually feed on children, are they
I mean
eating?
that kind of like it's a mystery to me because there are times where I think it's probably what's happening. There are times where I think I don't know if I'm just looking too much into it because it certainly seems plausible. But
Well,
I'll
there's a long history of it. So it's
well,
not like we're
I
just
think,
making things
yeah,
up.
but I think I'll tell you what I think the if if it's happening, I can tell you what I think the reason is, what's behind it. I think it's actually a very ancient form of mind control. When you have this kind of children, especially if they're orphans, that's a very powerful form of mind control
I
and
completely agree.
a way to create an army. A very
Absolutely. And that's what I
if you look.
see. I have a little dog who's making demands on me. Pardon me, please. Um, I don't know what this little dog wants. What this little dog is doing. All right, she cannot be apart from me. I have four tiny little black Pomeranians, so I have to work with them. Like I can't just tell them what to do. Okay, so you're saying that you think that ritual rape is how they create an army, and I couldn't possibly agree more.
Well, I can show you
Mm-hmm.
where I trace it to. So I
Okay.
think the first very blatant example of it
Yes.
that I think you might have heard of is an Islamic cult called the Assassins. Assassins.
I haven't heard of it.
All right, all right. So in Islam, you have Sunnis and you have Shiites, right?
Okay.
And the Shiites themselves, they have many sects, but inside the Shiites, there was also another split to a sect called the Ismailis.
Okay.
Right? Now, the reason I mentioned Gnosticism is that the split happened exactly because Ismailis were dealing into Gnosticism.
Okay.
Um, through their nascent group was called Karamitas, the Karamites.
Okay.
Anyway, the Assassins. It's a pretty well-known story, which was documented by Marco Polo
Okay.
through his source was a Ismaili prince called Alauddin, which kind of sounds like Aladdin.
Okay.
And the story goes that the head of the sect, which was a historical figure, a well-known historical figure, his name was Hassani Sabah. Hassani Sabah. And he lived in the mountain of Alamut in Afghanistan. where he would have taken like children or very very young, I call it adolescent,
Mm-hmm.
and he would take him to his place in the mountaintop called the Eagle's Nest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever researched Nazism, but these are all
Yeah.
phrases used in the Nazis' army.
Right.
Their pinnacle of their army base in the head of
Mm-hmm.
the mountains was called the Berghof, which was also the Eagle's Nest.
Okay.
And I believe they used similar methods because.
Yeah, I'm very, 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 very interested in hearing about the Rothschilds funding the Nazis.
I'm not sure.
You don't know if that's not true?
Yeah, I do know that they were funded like. I do know they were. They made lots of business with like the biggest corporations in the world, all around the world.
Right, you always hear George Herbert Walker Bush's father funded them.
Exactly.
You always hear that.
And Harriman brothers
mm-hmm.
through their banks and all.
Right.
And the Thyssen Group.
Yeah.
Sure. But specifically Rothschild, I haven't seen any conclusive evidence of that.
Okay, because I'm really looking for conclusive evidence. I am not looking to falsely accuse anyone. At all.
Well, let me get about the assassins. Well, they were
the
called
Ismailis, right?
Yeah,
Afghani Ismailis. Yeah. I want you to know that one of the things that I did was I exposed an Afghani cult leader who portrayed himself as Muslim, and I think he's Sabbatean Frankist or something, just from his behavior. Or something. He's something very evil, and he preys on children, and he does nothing but lie. He's a cult leader, and he's from Afghanistan.
I'm now going to the roots of where Sabbateanism came from. It came from those places Afghanistan was one of the places.
I had no idea. I always hear Turkey.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because what happens? But first, let me.
Please.
So you'll have like.
Please.
So he would take those children,
mm-hmm.
and in the mountaintops he had this beautiful secret place,
mm-hmm.
which was a well-known place in Alamut.
Yes.
Where he had beautiful women dancing
mm-hmm.
and wine and honey running in streams like in a river over there, and it pretty much looked like heaven.
Yes.
But before he would take them there, he would use this kind of brew of opium and hash and maybe even datura, if you know that. Datura is like a very strong. I experimented a little bit with it in South America.
I lived in South America.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know what this is. The Torah. I don't know what this is.
Maybe you heard the name they give it over there. One of the names is Tohei. A beautiful white lily.
I was in Brazil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the brew made would get them into a very dreamy
mm-hmm.
kind of the unconscious place,
Sure.
and then he would take them into that heavenly place and would convince them that is Allah's heaven, and he is the gate to that place.
This is exactly what the cult leader did that I'm telling you about. It was all hypnotism. It was all getting people in this very pliable kind of sexual state.
So yeah, and he basically that's where they invented the suicide bomb, kind of the suicide bombers of today.
It's so weird because this guy was always pushing suicide with hypnotism.
So yeah, they invented the Fedayun. Now, when the Mongols invaded, they were able, because the assassins were very strong all around the world. They were like They were
We're still in Afghanistan.
Yeah, they were
Okay.
like kind of like a secret service, but
Mm-hmm.
for hire. You could hire them to assassinate anyone at any time. And
Oh, yeah.
and that's why, kind of the urban legend, they called them assassins, because the root word comes from the word hash, and
Okay.
and the word assassin also is coming, but
Sure.
that might be just an urban legend of
Okay.
their enemies or something like that.
Sure.
But anyway, when the Mongols, they took them down, so they were able, they started spreading out and went out into Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And in Turkey, they started, creating those different kind of cults, which were...
Okay, so it's the Mongols, Afghanistan, and then they move into Turkey.
The Mongols broke them, and they had to go to underground, which brought
The
them to
assassins
Turkey.
had to go to Turkey because
Exactly.
the Mongols took over. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
exactly.
Fair enough. Okay.
And in Turkey,
Mhm.
they had many different kinds of systems of initiations and secret groups, but the main one, which came to be, was known as the Bektashi group.
Okay.
And the Bektashi group was the main religion of the Janissaries army, the Turkish Janissary army. The thing about them is that they would raise their army. The soldiers were actually orphan children.
Okay.
And the Bektashi, the Janissaries who practiced Bektashiism, that's how they built their army.
Yeah.
And I believe there was some mind control and even sodomy involved
Yeah.
in some weird way.
Well, one thing I will say is they know how to bring people up and to keep them under control. And I think we see a lot of that with Hollywood actors. Because I was a celebrity photographer. I used to work for Getty Images. And I was around this crowd. And they're not like normal people.
Yeah.
I mean, I can just tell you that.
Well, like dead inside? Or?
Yes! I mean, I could go on. I mean, I want to listen to you, but I just want to let you know where I come from. Mm-hmm. So I was around celebrities, and I saw everybody was on drugs. I saw everybody was, just not right. They didn't look right. They didn't feel right. You couldn't talk to anybody. And it was, looking back, I think it was a Sabbatean Frankist stronghold I was working in.
I wouldn't be at least surprised that that's the case.
But this is where this is where I want us to go. I want us to show things, to really get somewhere with this, because I can tell that they're...
I'm gonna get now to Hollywood, because the Bektashi are very interesting people.
Mm-hmm.
In Scottish Rite Freemasonry,
Okay.
up until pretty recently, when you got to the 32nd degree,
Mm-hmm.
you could have become what they call a Shriner. You've
Okay.
probably heard of them. They have circuses, right?
Of course.
Children hospitals. And
Yeah.
everything. Now, I read their history book.
Mm-hmm.
Several of them.
Their
say
official
something.
Shriner history.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, what is their history? They say, actually, why do they wear the fez? Why do they, have
Mhm.
those Islamic names to their shrines and to their,
Mhm.
they give each other names like Islamic kind of names and all.
Yeah.
Because what they're a Sufi sect of Bektashi.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting is they say from the Bektashi in Turkey, our order came into Europe as known as the Order of the Illuminati by Adam Weishaupt. And I say,
Okay.
I was looking into the history of it, and there was like this black hole. I said, how do you get from Turkey
Right.
to Germany to
Right.
Europe?
Right.
Well, the conduit
Okay.
was the Sabbateans, because Sabbatai Tzvi converted into Bektashiism.
Okay.
He converted into Islam.
Okay. I get it.
That's
I didn't know Baktashi. I never heard this before, but I've heard this story that Sabbatai Zvi had 1 million Jewish people, and in Turkey they said you have to convert or die,
Exactly.
and then he convert. I mean, you hear it, when I listen, I listen to YouTube, I hear it over and over again.
And Jacob Frank as well. He was also a part of a disciple of the Bektashi. That's where they learned.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you. Let's say about 9/11. How I look at it. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't dive too much into the details of what happened, how
Okay.
it happened, was it that, but the symbolism.
Oh,
is very interesting.
absolutely.
If you know symbolism related to
Absolutely.
Marano's or Sabbatite, it's extremely interesting.
Absolutely. I've gone very deep into it, and I spent a couple of weeks trying to prove that it was a satanic ritual.
Well, it has a lot to do with the Temple of Solomon, that's for sure.
Oh, and the Tisha B'Av, right?
Yeah, Tet B'Av, exactly.
I went in deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's even more than that because
Mm-hmm.
If you can look at the Temple of Solomon as like an astrological temple,
Okay.
because first of all, the person who built it was Hiram Abiff
Mm-hmm.
of Tyre,
Okay.
and they were kind of like people who the builders they knew a lot of those things. So
Okay.
if you look at the zodiac signs, so you probably know a little bit about the zodiac, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So you the longest day of the year is in Twins, right?
Right. It's in June 21st or something.
And the shortest day of the year is in Capricornus.
Exactly right.
Yeah. All right. So when you enter the temple, you enter between those two pillars of Boaz and Jachin, which represent the twins.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that the two pillars are the twins. Okay. I've heard of Joachim and Boaz. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jachin and Boaz and Jachin. And when you go into the temple to the innermost sacred place on the other end, that's where you sacrifice a goat, which is the Capricornus. And you sacrifice him in the shortest day of the year, pretty much, in the month which is with the most darkness, with the shortest days.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now that's a very interesting thing because not only that, you had Solomon's how you call it, not stamp, but seal, Solomon's seal.
Yes.
Solomon's seal was what in the occult at least, what it came to be in later days was kind of like an upwards pentagram or something like that.
Okay.
Now, here is something interesting because on 9/11, which is Tet B'Av, which represents the destruction of the temple, you had the Twin Towers being blown up.
Okay, so you do feel that 9/11 was a Tisha B'Av ritual. Are you saying that?
What I'm saying is, symbolically speaking,
Okay.
whether it was I don't know, a cosmic thing or a humanly planned thing, I will
Okay.
never really exactly know. But
Of course.
symbolically speaking, that is very archetypal what happened there, because you had this. All right, the Twin Towers, and then you had the Pentagon, which is like that pentagram, the Solomon's seal. But then you can ask me, where's the goat? Where you sacrifice? Where's the Capricorn?
Statue of Liberty?
No.
The statue, I've seen where the Statue of Liberty is in between the two pillars, but
Let me ask you, what was the book George Bush was reading to the children?
he was reading my pet goat.
Yes.
There's the goat. And did you see that they had the children chanting?
Yeah.
Isn't that creepy?
Yeah.
Yeah, really creepy.
but that's where you had like the sacrifice of the goat.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's the goat. It's I never looked at it that way.
And it's now here's something interesting about Bin Laden, because Bin Laden is like the continuation of that ritual, the way I see it.
Okay.
In the Kabbalah, the Zohar, you have a demon.
Okay, wait. Are you using Kabbalah and Zohar interchangeably?
The Zohar is a book of the Kabbalah corpus, so it's one.
I didn't know that. So the Zohar is a Kabbalah aspect of the Kabbalah.
It's one of the books.
One of the books of the Kabbalah is the Zohar. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me that.
The most well known and the biggest. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
And in the Zohar, you have this demon called Bal Adam, which is like a non-human or not human or something like that. But which is, they kind of write it like Bin Laden. It's like it's very similar to Bin Laden. But the thing is,
like a demon.
Yeah, it's like a demon.
Okay.
And when do you see it? The thing is, like in the temple in Jerusalem, if the sacrifices are good and the people of Israel are good, then during the sacrifice, a lion will come and will eat the sacrifice. But if the sacrifice is not good and the Israel is behaving not good, then in the sacrifice in the temple in Jerusalem, a dog will come. A dog, which is called the name of the demon Bin Laden. Now, something very interesting happened when they captured Bin Laden. They brought out a picture of the compound where he was captured.
Yes.
And even the newspaper, that's where it came from.
Do you think Afghanistan, now you're bringing up Afghanistan again, do you think that there's any kind of reason Afghanistan's coming up again?
Well, I'm not sure, but they captured him in Pakistan, actually.
Oh, okay.
But the compound where he was captured,
Mm-hmm.
In the newspaper, it came out that the compound was modeled in the same form as the map of Israel. And the compound of Bin Laden where he was captured was where Jerusalem was. And so you say, let's say...
In Pakistan, it represented Jerusalem.
No, it was like a compound where he was captured in. The form of the compound was like the map of Israel. And inside they captured Bin Laden exactly where Jerusalem is.
Oh, but we are talking about Pakistan.
Yeah. It happened.
Very interesting. Right, he's in the placement of Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's how they portrayed it in the newspapers.
Well, I doubt that's a coincidence.
So yeah, but I thought about it. So Bin Laden, the demonic from the Zohar, kind of like they got him, they killed him, kind of like a sacrifice in the temple in Jerusalem.
Okay.
So where's the dog? And you know how they captured and killed him? The team, the Navy SEALs, they had a dog who became a hero for capturing and killing Bin Laden.
Okay, so you're saying this is a bad sacrifice ritual. This is in the ritual, Bin Laden was a bad sacrifice.
Symbolically speaking, that continues the symbols of the temple and the sacrifices, and it's like the same symbolic,
And you never know why they're doing anything, because they're crazy. Now I have to say something else, and this is a whole other subject, but it does relate to dogs. Okay, I watch all these videos, on YouTube, the decodes of Hollywood movies. And there's always the dog named Sirius. There's always, are you serious? Sirius. Sirius everywhere. Sirius, the dog star. What's up with that?
Oh, sure. It was the most important star for the Egyptians.
Okay.
1 minute. Just need to take something.
The sun behind the sun. I watched a video and it was just one Hollywood thing after the other talking about the sun behind the sun.
Sirius is like, it's called, one of the names of Sirius is the dog star. And Sirius was the most important star for the Egyptians for their worship, because by tracking the star of Sirius, they would know when the Nile would flood, or when it would be safe.
Okay.
And the reason they call it the Dark Star is because it would always follow a constellation of the Orion's Belt, if you know.
Okay.
The Orion's Belt is like the belt of like a bigger constellation of like the Hunter.
Okay, and we always see Orion, and I watched a video where they showed that Orion was in the street plan of Manhattan, downtown where the towers were.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Also in Washington D.C. and everything, they would plan things. They would map things to reflect the stars in the sky.
Yeah,
but that has a lot to do with Hermeticism, also.
Okay. I mean, it does seem like this Hermeticism is their religion. I don't know what their religion is.
No. My opinion, their religion is Gnosticism. Gnosticism, it's absolutely that, because Gnosticism doesn't believe in a standard and objective moral values, and it actually doesn't believe that there is anything spiritual or sacred, or you can say even more, the first original Gnostics, they believed that this world, their bodies, everything here is like this anomaly, a mistake, something that wasn't supposed to happen, and everything they did was to try and kind of like escape this world into another world, out of this world. And so they didn't have any regards to like morality or anything, because those kind of things they believed grounded people into this world which they viewed as kind of this like matrix or something like that.
I have so much difficulty. I really do have a lot of difficulty understanding their outlook. I'll just say that.
It is weird, yeah.
I really, when you say Gnosticism, I don't know what that is. I hear what you're saying. It's something, in opposition and destructive. Yeah, that's all I'm hearing. And I don't really get it. And, you're saying there's Gnosticism in Muslim Gnosticism. Are you saying that?
Yeah.
Like a Sufi thing?
The assassins were like the Islamic Gnostics.
So by Gnostics, you're saying, I feel like you're saying kind of Satanists.
Yeah, Satanist in the
general, very general. That's like the broadest brush stroke you could possibly put on it.
The assassins, like the Hassani Sabah, their leader, he's before he died, he gave this phrase which became like that phrase became like their motto of what they truly believe in, and it's very Sabbatean in its core and Gnostic in its core. It means, what he said was, there is no truth, everything is permitted.
Right. I get that that's their outlook.
Sums it up.
I get that they genuinely think there's no truth, and they resent people like us who are looking for it.
And not only that, so if you want to understand it even more, so there are two they had, like in the French Revolution, they had this how you call it, not phrase, but like they would also say liberty and equality.
Right.
But you need to take those two words and understand them in the light of there is no truth, everything is an illusion. So
right.
There is no truth, everything is permitted.
Sorry. Yep, sure.
So, liberty, their kind of liberty goes with everything is permitted.
Right.
Which makes it libertine, not liberty, but libertine.
Absolutely.
And there is no truth goes with equality, which means equality of values. That means
Yep.
there is no real hierarchy of values. All values are the same because there is no truth.
I get it.
And that today, what it is actually postmodernism, which
Yep.
doesn't believe in truth.
Absolutely.
That's what it is, pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. I get it. Now I have to ask you the big question. Okay? This is a very touchy subject. Okay? So there's this whole thing where it's coming out that a lot of the celebrities are transsexuals.
Oh, look, you don't have to tell. I mean, I know it's like not politically
Right.
correct.
Exactly. It's not politically correct. And,
about Israel and Jews in Israel.
well, it's a very touchy subject.
In Israel, it's hard to find touchy subjects in Israel because here in Israel, people very easily reject those kind of worldviews that challenge so deeply
Right.
everything.
Yes.
Israel is very conservative.
Okay.
In a way which they're very suspicious
Okay.
of fashions like trans and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. So what was the question?
Well, I have a lot to say on this subject. Since I was a celebrity photographer, I did notice that they were not right. And I've been around very, very, very rich people my whole life. And I didn't understand why they looked like that. I thought they were deformed. Because it's other the little tiny rich men have these 6-foot Swedish looking wives. Do you know what I'm saying? With the big Adam's apple and the big jaw. And the blonde hair, and, that stunning, very Nordic look. And, 6'2", skinny as a bone. And they're the rich women. And I'm like, I'm a woman. I don't look like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was shooting Fashion Week. Okay?
You mean like they look like Amazons?
They look like Amazons, but they don't look like women either. But I thought, that's rich people. Oh, rich people, special rich people, wonderful. Rich people get to be very weird looking, And then I would do Fashion Week, and I would photograph the models backstage, and I would say, they're deformed. They're giants. They're, you know what I mean? Like, I knew they weren't quite women.
I thought it was like, I don't know, like surgery, buttocks, all of those.
But that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Oh, it's surgery, or they're freaks. That they're the opposite of midgets. I had no idea, but I knew they weren't a woman like I'm a woman. Okay, you just know.
A coincidence that today it's a fashion.
No.
Yeah.
No,
that's more.
It's not a coincidence. It's engineering. It's engineering, and it's coming from them. You can't believe it. And like I said, since I worked with these people. I was with them. Okay, they're not right, and I know this is going on for a fact. Okay, because I live here, and I think when they switch the gender, just my opinion, they can never leave. Think about it. Leave the cult.
I got a document that shows that the CIA, when it started their MK Ultra project and everything, so they were considering many, they were looking in history, they were trying to look for similar kind of conducts through history, where they tried to mind control and turn people into Manchurian candidates or whatever.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that.
And they said the first example we can find in history is the assassins.
Okay.
Now there's one person in the world today, actually, who is the assassins, they still exist today. It's an Islamic sect which still exists today. Their head, their leader, is called the Aga Khan. If you heard of it.
I have. And that's connected to this area too. The Rita Hayworth Foundation and all the benefits and all that stuff. They have that here in the summer.
So yeah, he too has his own NGOs and everything, helping children or whatever.
Always, always. I'm telling you, all summer with these people, it's all charity benefits. And
Yeah,
Aga Khan, and you
I
see
don't
them
buy
in all
it.
the society papers.
I don't buy it.
And let me tell you another thing that I'm very upset about, if you don't mind. Okay. Okay. I'm on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I'm very in that whole world, okay? And it's full of infiltrators. I don't have to tell you that, right?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll tell you something about the Mossad today. What we found out, at least, they kind of, what happened in Israel is like there's this power shift going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, actually.
Okay.
I believe that Israel is going through something pretty good, actually. But
okay.
what happened to the Mossad, it outsourced itself to private companies, private intelligence companies. One of them is called Black Cube,
Okay.
I believe. And that Black Cube helped Harvey Weinstein,
I'm familiar.
defame his accusers.
I'm very familiar with this.
So,
Okay.
So, yeah, it is something like that going on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's my point. Okay. Okay. My point is that I do think that the Sabatini and Frankists are fomenting World War III. I don't know if you agree with that.
Something. I think they are trying to foment a war with Russia and everything.
Well, from what I'm seeing, Albert Pike predicted World War III, and I post this all the time. Okay, and Albert Pike's.
I know this.
Okay, but you don't buy it?
I wasn't able to confirm those letters he wrote to Mazzini.
Okay.
Were authentic.
Okay, well, I'm just running with them, but I would love verification or not myself, because I don't like to be inaccurate. But the reason I do post them is because I see them doing it. Okay, so even if they're wrong, they're still right, and because it's happening. And what it says in that World War III prediction is that they want to wind up the Jews against the Muslims. And then after that, they want to wind everybody up against the Christians and the revolutionaries. And then once everybody's dead and tired, they'll sell the Luciferian religion. Okay?
Yeah.
Is that fake? Is that real? I see it happening. I'm going to go with real, just for the purposes of this conversation. So, on the YouTube community, I see all these people that I perceive to be agents winding people up against the Jewish people. And they're saying, oh, look, this Jewish German person did this evil thing. Here's another Jewish German person who did this evil thing. And then to say, see, Jews are evil. And it's true. That Jewish German person with that name actually did something evil. So they're using the truth. And, that hurts me a lot. That really upsets me. I don't know if you're aware that this is happening, that they are deliberately, and I think this is coming from the freaking Sabatini and Frankists. And that's something I really want to talk to you about.
What I think is happening, a similar thing that is happening is that you have those Sabbatean Jews doing, subverting countries. And when they're exposed, they have their group saying, oh, that's anti-Semitic. But then
at the same time, they show that they show their own evil, and then they false flag it onto the Jewish people.
Exactly.
Right. And I really, my main goal in doing a conversation series with you, if you want to do it, is to show people, these are people. They're not in on it.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because they're showing Jewish people that Christians are out to kill them. They're showing us the Jewish people out to kill us. And I want to do everything I can to interfere with that propaganda. You know what I'm saying?
But I think we're in a pretty good time now that Christian and Jews, they see that the time. I mean, the way I view the story of the Ark of Noah is that those values, they are able to transcend tumultuous times in the long run.
I
So,
completely agree. But that, like I said, that's a huge goal of mine in talking to you, is that we can really get through that and say, this is what's going on. We're both being set up.
oh, sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
right. And I want to, do the work to do everything I can to show there are people in Israel who care about the truth. Because I'm telling you, the YouTube crowd, the truth crowd, is being brainwashed right now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's horrifying.
I've always thought about that one, but I mean that's like the oldest trick in the book of
It is the oldest trick in the book.
Shifting the blame to the Jews, but it
Yeah.
used to work because the Jews were like the minority in various countries, but now I think the case that we can show is how Israel is being subverted in the same way.
Thank you.
And when you see that,
Exactly.
you start to ask, wait, why would they subvert Israel?
Thank you.
As well?
That's my main goal in talking to you, is to show Israel's being subverted, because that's what I'm hearing from you when I've listened to you on that one show. I watched a couple of them, and I heard you saying this. We're being subverted.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's
well, we're being
totally
subverted too. So are we.
If you look at the elites in Israel, they're very similar to what you are.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, so here in Israel, like, the biggest subverters, I can tell you, like, for example, the greatest subverter of Israel, in my opinion, today, which at least I see, is Leslie Wexner.
I never heard of her.
The head of Victoria's Secret.
Oh!
Yeah.
That's a problem. Victoria's Secret is a problem.
He has an NGO. It's not an NGO. It's a foundation, the Wexner Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Wexner.
Yeah, the Wexner.
What's the first name?
Leslie Wexner.
Leslie Wexner. Mm-hmm.
In Hebrew, we call him Wexner.
Okay.
Wexner.
Okay.
The W becomes a V. Like.
Of course.
But the thing is that his foundation picks up key people in the bureaucracy of Israel, in the army, in the judicial process, government, NGOs, everything, a civil society, and he brings them to Harvard School to train.
It's always
them.
Harvard.
Yeah.
Yes.
To train them actually to become what is today in Israel the deep state of Israel.
Okay.
Is all people who were indoctrinated in the Wexner Foundation machine in Harvard.
Okay.
And they work hand in hand with the civil society,
Mm-hmm.
and it happens every time. The Israeli population is actually pretty aware of what's going on, even if it can't articulate it fully.
Okay.
But what happens is Israel chooses, there's a, how you call it, a election or about something or to the government, and the population elects one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and the entire bureaucracy that was, trained in the Wexner Foundation
Of
and
course.
the civil society, which is inflated with lots of money from out of Israel,
Right.
they go the opposite way.
Exactly.
And they try to, have like protests, which try to bring in not a civil war, but they try to make
it's same thing everywhere. Same thing everywhere. Same thing here. Same thing in Europe.
Yeah, and they always kind of, they always represent it as, no, we're like for human rights.
Oh, we're for the good. For good. No. For good. When we do it, it's good. Good. See, that's why I think you're right. That it is NLP. It's good. No, not bad. Good.
Hypnotism and NLP.
Good.
Like,
No, you're bad. We're good. No. You got that wrong. We're good.
That's Gnosticism, because Gnosticism, in its basis, it's dualism. And
Yes.
Dualism of light and darkness, an eternal battle of good and evil.
Yes.
And that's opposed to monotheism, which is not dualist. It's mono. It believes in one God. And dualism believes in, in an eternal battle of good and evil, and the elites are always representing the knowledge of the good, which the crowd, the populace, they don't have access to that, whatever gnosis that would be of the good.
Right, but see, let me bring this back to Napoleon. From my perspective, Napoleon was fighting for the people to have knowledge too, and for the people to have the right to be elevated to the higher reaches of success if they had the capacity.
Yes.
So he did a lot of things could have been better, but that's my point that I drive home over and over again. He was fighting for the rights of the people to live with dignity and to acquire knowledge and to not be oppressed. And, monotheism, I know what you're saying, but I do see an eternal battle between good and evil.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
No,
and I do feel that he was fighting back against feudalism.
The knowledge the Gnostics are talking about has nothing to do with like academy or whatever. It has to do with some sort of this intuitive inner knowledge of whatever that good thing is, and it's always that deceptive thing.
Something sneaky. I think we should. It's probably so late for you. I am so thrilled to talk to you. Please talk to me soon, okay?
No problem.